Hi, everybody. It's Sam. How's it going? Let's see. Terrific. Okay, I'm seeing people coming into the room. That's great. Go. Let me enable the chat so you can talk to me. Good. Hi, everybody. Go ahead and type in where you're from or what your question is. Leonor is going to be joining us in a minute, so I'll try and keep up with your chat and your questions. If you're having trouble with the sound or the picture, you want to maybe adjust the little settings, the little wheel thing up at the top. For me, it's up at the top of my screen. It looks like a little gearbox. And you can change the settings there so that this takes up a little less bandwidth. I'll be slightly more pixelated, but the sound and the video should sync up better. Good, there's everybody coming in. Hi, everyone, wonderful to see you too. Yes, terrific, terrific. Good. Oh, great. So great to see all of you. We've got just about another minute before I'm going to start officially because I want to start promptly at the top of the hour. Jen says, hi, Sam. Love that you keep offering these webinars. They're life-changing. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. They changed my life too, so that's great. I can't read the chat without my glasses. Hi from New Jersey. Hi from Kentucky. Hi from Peru. Hi, everybody. This is so wonderful to see you all. It's such a treat to be together. So it's right at the top of the hour. There's Carrie Elizabeth in Oslo. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, I want to welcome you all to this. There's a lot of you, as you know, I've been putting out a lot of free content lately because I've had a lot of ideas lately. I've had a lot of things I want to think about and talk about and things I want to explore and sort of uncork in you. And it's all in preparation for the Big Big Yes, which is my annual 3-day event that's happening July 9th to the 12th at the Westin LAX in Los Angeles. So, as I think about creating material for that and what do I want to do and who is it right for and what do we want to accomplish and what does that look like, it just, how it is. You get one of these sort of creative storms and more material starts coming. So I woke up yesterday morning at 4 a.m. when the sky, just before dawn, and the sky is that incredible shade of really deep blue, but it's like an illuminated blue. It was so beautiful out the window. So I wake up to this incredible shade of blue outside the window with this idea about how to talk about or how to think about what business you're in. Because on the last couple of webinars I did, I asked, I usually put a little survey so I can find out something about what you're thinking and what your concerns are. And I asked, what do you think is keeping you stuck? Do you think it's the tech stuff? I dislike sales and marketing. I don't know what business I'm in. And 45% of you said, I don't know what business I'm in. So I thought, well, that's a really interesting question. And I can see why that would be a tough place to get stuck. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what that is and what some of those options might look like and what are some of the inner blocks that you're going to be facing around that and what are some of the sort of more practical business models that you could look at that might spark some ideas for you. So yeah, we're going to talk those through. We're going to talk through the inner blocks. We're going to talk through the business models. And I also want to talk to you about Big Big Yes a little bit and just let you know what the offer is for that. It'll take about 2.5, 3 minutes at about the 20-minute mark. So I know some of you are already committed and coming and some of you are committed to not coming. That's fine. But if there's any of you on the fence, I want to talk to you a little bit about that. And if you're anywhere, if you're a little interested, you can fill out this little assessment. This is at theorganizedartistcompany.com/assess, ASSESS. And it's a very quick 7-question query, inquiry that will allow you, again, to move a little further along in your thinking about your money and your creativity. So it has a benefit. Just filling it out can be really interesting. And then you'll get an invitation to have a 15-minute conversation with a member of Team TOA, with somebody in the Organized Artist Company. It might be me, it might be Leonore, it might be someone else. And we'll just talk, about where you're at and what you're up to, and if Big Big Yes is right for you, and if you want to come but you're not sure how you could make it happen, we can help you look at that. It's not a pressure thing or even really a sales thing. It's just, is it right for you or is it not right for you? Because if it's not right for you, I don't want you there, right? That would be silly. Okay. So that's what we're up to. I hope that sounds right to everybody and good. I want to check in. Hi from Dallas, hi from Colorado, hi from Vancouver. Oh, wonderful to see you all from Vienna, Cincinnati, currently in Salt Lake. Excellent. Hi from Brooklyn. Oh, my family's in Brooklyn. Hi. Hi, everybody. This is wonderful to have you here. So I'm so pleased and flattered that you would take the time out of your day for this. It's an important statement that you're making to yourself about how important your creativity is and how important your money-making potential in your creativity is. And it's a sign of real commitment and joy and desire. So make notice of that. Notice that. Notice that. Good. So if we're all set, let's go ahead and start with our breathing. And I do this to set aside this time from other time. This is not, we're not going about this conversation in the way that we go about everything else in our day. We are looking into some of the darker corners with a nice bright flashlight, and we are being very gentle with ourselves, and we're opening up to maybe a whole new way of thinking and being in the world. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, and I'll count us through it. If you want to, well, use this time however you want to use this time. And if you want to ignore it, that's totally fine. Good. So soften your heart and your gaze. Give yourself a little Mona Lisa smile. Let your hands be open in an attitude of receiving. Soften your belly. Drop your shoulders back. Think about breathing and how great it is. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for doing that with me. Most of you on this event know me. You're on my list. Like I said, I just thought of this yesterday morning, so I didn't really get a chance to promote it worldwide or anything. But we are running some Facebook ads, or maybe you heard about this from a friend. So if you don't know me, my name is Sam Bennett. I created the Organized Artist Company and the Organized Entrepreneur Company, which is a business that I started full-time in 2009. And the business has doubled and tripled every year. I grew it into 6 figures in 3 years, and we'll definitely cross the $500,000 mark this year. So I'm here to tell you, you can do it. And I started out with no business in business, no background in business, no background in marketing, no background in sales, no background in email marketing. I just had this class that I taught sometimes called the Get It Done Workshop, which then turned into the book, Get It Done, From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day. And in addition to helping creative people get unstuck, I have unleashed my inner sales and marketing nerd and found out that I love business and I love entrepreneurship. And because I find it to be an incredible spiritual growth tool, an incredible self-actualization tool, personal development tool, and a real way to share your work with the world in a way that really matters. So I become sort of an advocate and for creative people to get their work out into the world. And so in light of that, that's partly why I created the Big Big Yes event. So that's called the Big Big Yes, How to Overcome Procrastination, Perfectionism, and Self-Doubt and make $10,000 or more from your creativity. You can go to www.bigyesrevolution.com. bigyesrevolution.com, and that's the website that'll give you all the information. We'll talk more about it in a minute. Okay, so let's talk first about some of the inner blocks or negative self-talk that might keep you from starting your own business or from starting to make money from your creativity. And whether that's, oh, I would just like to make an extra couple $100 a month. I think that would be fun. Or like, no, I really want to start something serious. I want to have a team. I want to have a business. Like, I really want to make this happen. Wherever your ambitions lie, there may be some of this self-talk keeping you stuck. One I hear a lot is, I got 5 here. So the one I hear a lot is, well, I know I need to do something, but I'm not really sure what. I know I want to do something, but I'm not really sure what. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of skills and talents. I don't really know how to I can't really combine them. I don't really know. And I make that sound, because that's what it sounds like to me when I hear people saying it on the phone. I don't know. And what I'm really hearing in that is stuckness and a spinning. Well, I could do this, but I could do that. But maybe I should do this. Well, I used to do that. Maybe I should do this. Somebody said I should do that. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? We get into the spin and stay in it. And that kind of spinning, I think, is a way of keeping a person safe. Or sort of safe. Like somehow we feel like if we're still thinking about it, well, that means we're still good people. We're working. But we're researching, we're thinking, we're spinning, and we're staying in this space of indecision, which feels safe. So what I want you to do as I'm talking through some of these inner blocks is notice, like, does that ring true for me? Like, have I had issues before with that, with trying to stay safe in a world that doesn't have safety anywhere in it, except, inside yourself? And if it does, like, make a little note. And I know a lot of you think better when your hands are busy. So go ahead and doodle or draw, make notes for yourself, because sometimes we have these ahas and we think they'll last forever, but they don't unless you write them down and put them up in front of you again. So yeah, so I think that spinning one is really some quest for safety, which we know is an illusion, right? Sometimes I hear that, like, well, I can't think of anything. Like, I know I need to make more money, or I know I need to get stuff out there, but I can't think what to do, or I don't know how I would do it. That's a big one. I don't know how. I want to do this, but I don't know how. And to me, that's the voice of perfectionism. That's the voice that says, I want to get it right. I don't want to make a wrong choice. I don't want to do it incorrectly. And if I don't know how to do it correctly, I'm not going to do it at all. And this is something I think that school teaches us, right? That you're supposed to have the answers in advance, that you're supposed to do it right, that there is a right way, for one thing, and that you're supposed to know what it is, and you're supposed to know what it is ahead of time, and you're supposed to sit in the front row with your hand up and say, I know, teacher, I know how to do it, right? And that's not what life is like. You may have noticed that is not what life is like. It's what school was like. It is not what life is like. And it is certainly not what creative entrepreneurship is like. So again, notice for yourself, does that ring a bell for you? Is it like, oh, I've come up against that perfectionism thing before, or I've come up against that good girl or good boy thing before. That's something that resonates with me, right? Okay, so we've got the spinning to stay safe. We've got the perfectionism. I don't want to do it because I don't know what to do, or I don't know how to do it. This one, I don't hear it a lot, but I hear it sometimes quite vehemently of like, well, I don't want to start a business because I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. I don't want to be stuck doing that thing. I don't want to say I'm a teacher and then I'm just stuck teaching people. I would hate that. That to me is you hiding from your gifts. That's what I hear when I hear people say that. well, I don't want to do that and have to do that. You know, what if I get on a sitcom and then I'm just on that sitcom forever and people know me as that? And, you know, that'd be awful. Really? It would be awful? I think it would be great. I suspect it would be great. I suspect that that thing you're telling yourself you don't want to be stuck doing is something you would actually love to do. So again, is this something you've caught yourself doing before? Backpedaling off of ideas, talking yourself out of things that you kind of know you would love by telling yourself that you would hate it? Has that happened? Okay, good. The one I hear most often, of course, is, well, what if I fail? You know, what if I fail? What if I fail publicly? What if I fail in a really ugly way? What if everyone knows that I fail? I fail and everybody knows that I fail? Or its sister, what if I succeed? What if it's a big hit and everybody thinks I'm great and then I'm supposed to be great all the time? Right? And what does that mean for me? And this to me is twofold. It's a visibility issue, right? It's not being willing to put on the rock star coat. It's not being willing to step in front of the group as a leader. It's not being willing to put your art out there in a way that it could really start to have an effect on people. So you want to hide. And the way to hide is to hide behind that fear. What if I fail? What if I succeed? And then you're letting that fear decide for you. You are letting fear drive the car. Sometimes I hear like, well, what if somebody says that my work is this thing or that? You know, what if they say it's no good? Or what if they say I'm a fraud? Or, you know, my work is cheap or bad or something. Okay, so you're letting an imaginary person who's saying something that you're making up affect your decision to do a project that you haven't even started yet. You see the slight crazy involved in that, right? You get the disconnect there? Okay, good. And the last one is nobody will buy it. Well, I would sell it, but there's nobody who would buy that. Or there's certainly nobody who would buy it at the price that I would need to charge in order to make it worth my while. And here's what I hear when I hear that. You're undervaluing your own work. It's not that they're undervaluing it, it's that you're undervaluing it. It's not that they wouldn't pay for it, it's that you don't believe they would pay for it. Because I'm here to tell you, people will pay any amount for anything. Let me just say that again. People will pay any amount for anything. And you've seen it. Go on eBay. What are people buying? It's crazy. It's crazy what people will pay. It's great. It's inspiring. It's beautiful. People get to do with their money whatever they want. There's no such thing as wasting money, any more than there's any such thing as wasting time. How could you waste time? It's just time. You're just using it the way you use it. So those are some of the inner blocks I hear, the inner conversations that keep people from moving forward. And I want to check in with you guys and see how this is resonating. Martin says, it's funny, but safety often turns out to be more destructive and risky. Well, 100%. 100%. And it's one of the reasons I was able to grow my business as fast and as well as I was, is because I started in 2009, which you all may remember was a pretty disastrous time in the American economy, and even in the world economy. But it worked out great for me because all of a sudden there were all these people who were like, okay, well, the safe job didn't work out so great. You know, here I thought I was being all smart and taking this soul-destroying full-time job so that I could have all these benefits and whatever. And now they've laid me off and my retirement account has been decimated, and you know, I might as well do what I love. I might as well make my own way. I might as well be my own boss, because this thing that was safe turned out to be the riskiest thing of all. Right? Good, let's see. Okay, oh my goodness, there's so much chat in here. Okay, let me see what I can catch up with. Lots of waking up at 4 a.m. with so many ideas. Must be something cosmic. There is, have you guys seen the Venus and Jupiter alignment in the sky? It's really beautiful. And then with a full moon, like, it's just stunning. Rasika says, hi all, one of my blocks is the persistent belief that money is just this thing that is in the way of a true exchange of gifts and service. It's fake, it's made up, and it delineates us into classes. It makes me angry and feel poor, and that's who I am. Ah, Rasika, okay, I'm glad you said that. First of all, you're exactly right. Money is totally made up. It's totally made up. If we decided tomorrow that, no, we're not going to use money anymore, we're going to use reading glasses. That's the rate of exchange. This is 3 reading glasses. I'll give you 5 reading glasses. That's going to be 400 reading glasses, right? It's totally made up. It's only the value we assign to it. What I might suggest, though, is that rather than it be something that makes you angry, it be something that you honor the symbol that it is, because it is a symbol for an energetic exchange. It is the symbol for a sacred exchange. I will give you this in exchange for that. And I recognize the value of what you're giving me by placing this dollar amount value on it. And you know, the class issue, the fact that there's rich people and poor people, that is upsetting. But it is also outside of my sphere of influence. There's only so much I can affect in the world. So I try and affect the things that I can actually affect, the things that I can touch with my hands, the people I can interact with, the people I can teach, the person I am and the way I do business. And I can only hope that with that lever, I can move the world. But I can't fix the entire class system. And so I'm not going to let the fact that I can't solve that problem keep me from solving the problem that's right in front of me, which is, how do I make enough money to be prosperous, to have plenty to give back, to share, to pay my team, to overpay people, to celebrate, to travel, to buy the expensive cheese at the grocery store, to shop at the gourmet shop, to buy a new sweater. You know, how do I fund my life in a way that is nourishing, not just for me, but for the people I work with? But I encourage you to make some art about that. I would absolutely make some art about the dirtiness and the anger and the, because there's a lot of powerful feeling in there. And you're right, it will absolutely keep you from succeeding. It's like believing that, you know, sex is awful. Like, that's a great way to have really terrible sex your whole life. So, great question. Let's see. Mariah recommends a book called It's Not About the Money. Good, thank you. Ashley says it's challenging. Sorry, this skipped away from me. It's challenging too because pole dancers, naked bodies make more per day than, say, a teacher. Again, I wouldn't get caught up in that argument. I think that's, there's some faulty logic in there, and I think that teachers can make more money if they want to. I make lots of money teaching, so you know, yeah, I urge you to take a look at that. Good. Jen says, Sam, how do you usually instruct your clients out of their fear blocks? Jen, if I had a way to instruct people out of a fear block, I could really make some money. All I can do is open you up to the possibility that there's other ways of thinking than the thought that you're trapped inside of. I can model for you what that might look like. I can put you in a group of other people who are modeling what that might look like. That's one of the big advantages to coming to Big Big Yes. We learn, so the most effective way for us to learn is by modeling, right? So I can talk about it forever. You can read about it forever. You can take a million workshops. But when you're actually standing there and watching someone else do it, then it sort of clicks. Like, oh, well, if she can get over her fear and do that, maybe oh. So that's another way. But the main thing is just to get into action. You've got to change your behavior. Don't wait to feel better. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait to feel like it's, you know, the right time. It's never going to be the right time. You will never feel ready. You are never going to have the confidence. There's never going to be enough money in the bank. It's not going to happen. Nobody feels ready, ever, ever. What you have to do is change your behavior, start taking tiny little baby steps to do things differently, and then you start to feel differently. I had a client, a friend the other day, I was talking to him last Tuesday, and he said he had booked his ticket for Big Big Yes, and he had booked his hotel room, and he did not know how he was going to pay for his hotel room. It's like, Sam, I have no money. Like, I have no money, I have no credit cards. I am tapped out, and I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this, but I'm committed to coming. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm gonna move my feet. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'll be there. And I said, great. He called me the next day. He booked a $4,000 $1,000 a month client the next day. That makes for a tidy story. It's nice when it works out like that, right? You make a commitment and then boom, the resources appear. But that's my experience, is that when you make a decision, you start to see opportunities that you haven't seen before, right? So if I'm going looking for a ball gown, for some reason I need a ball gown, I could stand there in the ball gown department going, I don't know what, it's a short, tall, long, satin, silk, beaded, right? You can be overwhelmed by choices and fear of ball gowns. Or I can say, okay, I want one that's blue. And now all I'm gonna start seeing are the blue ones. And that's gonna get me one step closer to having the gown that I want, because you decide. So that's sort of my big advice on that. Diane says, I put my work out, got horrible reactions. I'm gonna stop trying to write and do something else to make money. I mean, sure, whatever you want. I wonder if it was a question of audience mismatch. Like, were you showing it to the right people? Were you showing it to the people who already love the kind of work that you do? Don't show your babies to the vultures. And don't go to the empty cookie jar. There are people in your life, there are groups of people who will not support what you're doing. Don't talk to them about it. Don't expect their support. Don't try to get support from people who are incapable of supporting you. Talk to them about other things. Keep a little list in your pocket of other things you can discuss with them. Do not discuss your work with them. But you do need a community of people who do understand what you're doing and support and will support you. And again, that's partly what the 365 Club and the Big Big Yes is all about. Okay. So I want to keep going here. Oh, I love that. How do I fund my life so that I can nourish? Hope I can repeat that. Oh, I don't know what I said. You'd have to go back and look at the recording. But yeah, yeah, I mean, you need a sustainable life, right? You need to eat enough food to sustain you. You need to breathe enough air to sustain you. You need to get enough sleep to sustain you. You need enough hope to sustain you. You need enough hugs and touches to sustain you. And you need enough money to sustain you. You need a financially sustainable life. So you need to start making choices that are going to move you in that direction. And if you don't have that right now, then what you're doing isn't working. You have to stop doing it. I talk to so many artists who are like, well, I'm sort of hoping that things will change. In the immortal words of my friend David Nagel, hope is not a strategy. Hope is a beautiful treasure in our heart. It is not a way to make things different. If you want things to be different, you're going to have to do things differently. I'm going to say that again. If you want things to be different, you're going to have to do them differently. And it's going to be uncomfortable. But it's also going to be thrilling and inspiring. And I have to tell you, I wish I could give you this feeling. I wish I could just give you this feeling, because I know there's all this anxiety ahead of time of like marketing your work or charging for your work. And it all feels very fraught. But once you're on the other side of it, I was just talking to somebody the other day who was like, oh, I sent out an email and like people are registering for my thing. Like, right. See how great it is when it works, you know? I finally convinced one of my clients to raise their price up. And so they finally, he calls me and goes, okay, we're having this meeting and we determined that it was going to be good for us to work together, and they asked how much I charged. And I wanted to say less, but I didn't. I said $6,000, and then I stopped talking, right? State your price, then stop talking. I said it's $6,000. And they said, do you take American Express? And I'm like, right, feels better, doesn't it? They're like, yeah, it feels great. I'm like, right, it's so scary before it happens, and it's so gratifying after it happens. You know, it's like anything. It's like going into the ocean. If you're like, oh, it's gonna be cold, I'm not gonna like it. But then you're in there and you're in the ocean, and it's the best. Okay, so those are those feelings. You know, if you're getting that, like, oh, I'm trying to be safe, or oh, I'm trying to get it perfect, or oh, I'm hiding from my gifts, or oh, I'm having visibility issues. I don't want to. You know, I recognize that comes up for me. I recognizing that I undervalue myself. understand then that that means that those are not real thoughts, right? Those aren't really valid ideas. They're your neuroses disguised as thinking, right? So next time that thing comes up for you of like, oh, I'm not sure, I can't decide, or oh, I want to do it right, or I'm not sure how, or no one would pay for that, go like, oh, right, that's not a real thought. That's just my issue showing up again in the outfit of that thought. Same problem, different outfit. Right, so let that piece of information free you. Paint those thoughts bright pink in your mind. So when you think, then you go, oh, that's right, that's that one that's not real. There's probably a lot of those that you think are real. Okay. And, you know, if you're me, I just got bored of those thoughts. Like, oh, really? That issue again? That visibility issue again? I'm hiding again? Enough. Enough. I'm willing to do it differently just so that I can have a different conversation with my friends and my coach. Like, let's just do it differently for the sake of novelty. Okay. Here's what was really interesting. I asked you guys on the survey for this about about what you thought would be great about having your own business and what you thought would be maybe less great or horrible about having your own business. And pretty much all of you said pretty much the same thing, which is the thing that you thought would be great is having all the freedom and all the control. And the thing that you thought would be really horrible is having all the freedom and having all the control. And I get that. I get that. And I get that push-pull. There's a certain sort of adolescence to it, right? Of like, I want to be my own person and no one can control me, except would somebody else take responsibility for this? Because I don't want to fail and look bad. Like, you know, it's a very human response. It's a very natural response. So what I invite you to is this idea that you get to take 100% responsibility for the results in your life, no matter what. You already have all the freedom and all the control. I'll say that again. You already have all of the freedom and all of the control. You're just not exercising it. And if that's hitting you somewhere, I want you to feel that. I want you to notice that you are ready to exercise your freedom and your control, your ability to choose. And I get it that it may mean disappointing people. I get it that it may mean doing things differently than you've ever done them before. I get it that it's going to scare the pants off you. Yay. What else are we here for? Right? That safety is an illusion. You've got to let it go. So you've got 100% responsibility. And I want to point out to you, you can handle it. You can handle it. If you start your own business, you can handle it. And here's how I know. Because you've made it this far. You have not starved to death yet. You have not let your children starve to death yet. You've made it work. You always make it work. You are great at making it work. And it's no harder to make a business work than it is to make your actual life work. And it's certainly no harder than the pain of not doing it. The pain of not getting your work into the world. The hell of hesitation. I wrote that the other day. The hell of hesitation. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And the really great news is that you can always make another decision. Right? You start something, you decide it's not really for you or it's not really working, make another decision. You know, and a lot of businesses start this way. When I started the Organized Artist Company, I actually thought that I would be one of the aspects of the business, because this way I was doing a bunch of different things, like a lot of you, right? I was doing some administrative work for people. I was teaching the Get It Done workshop, and I was doing a little bit of home and office organization for people. And I thought the home and office organization was going to be, I thought that was kind of going to be the business. So I did it a little bit, And then I figured out that I was much more interested in organizing your brain than I was in organizing your stuff. And there are a lot of people out there who are way, way, way better at the cleaning and organization of stuff than I am, and they love that work, and I did not love it. So, you know, I did it for like, I don't know, 6 months or so, and then I sort of shifted the business in a different direction, and it was fine. Nobody knew, nobody cared. And that's the beautiful thing about creative entrepreneurship is you're like on a little jet ski. You know, you can change your mind. You can have an idea yesterday morning at 4 a.m. and be putting it out at 11 a.m. the next day to a couple hundred people worldwide, 1,000 people worldwide, you know. It's great. It's great. And even small, even, you know, I got asked to do some consulting work for another personal development company. You know, they offer classes, workshops, and webinars and stuff with some very, very famous personal development teachers, leaders in the field. And they asked me to come in and be sort of a creative director for a project. And I haven't signed the contract yet. I'm not actually sure if it's going to happen or not. But I will tell you, they offered me 6 months work, and I'm just supervising. Like, I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just advising, consulting. $26,000 and 4% of the net. This is what happens when you get good at business. People pay you for things. But anyway, the reason I bring this up is not to tell you how cool that is, although I do think it's really cool. And we'll see. I'll let you know if the job works out or not. We'll see. But what I noticed even in talking to them, and they're a pretty small organization, they don't have a big staff or a big building or anything, but like getting a decision made moving forward like takes time. It takes a couple of days every time, you know, I suggest something or we make an addition to the change in the contract or we bring up something else. Like, there's this lag time, and there's this, you know, and those of you who work for institutions know how moribund they can get. You know, it's like these big ocean liners, like you just can't turn them. You turn them too fast, they tip over, so they have to turn very slowly. But as solopreneurs, we can go like lightning and change our mind and do it differently. So you can always make another decision, that you can have that, enjoy that freedom and control however you want. Martin says, oh no, teenage mindset, guilty as charged. Yeah. Good, hell of hesitation, profound. Yeah, I love these tools you're coming up with, so helpful. The responses and conversation, again, right, that again, right, so tired of it. And business doesn't have to suck, exactly. Business can be great. Yes, behavior first, good. Mariah says, don't show your baby to the vultures and don't go to the empty cookie jar. These are two huge ways that I had been sabotaging my work. Yes, yes, yes. Miranda says, as soon as you take a step in a new direction, the scenery changes. Exactly, exactly. Jen says, don't wait to feel better. Thanks, Sam. I think I really get caught in how I feel. It's great advice. Yeah, those feelings are really valuable information for you. And again, make some art about it. You know, let those feelings turn into a poem about loneliness or abandonment or what it feels like to show your work and have it not be appreciated. You know, make a song about it, do a dance about it, about fear of failure and whatever, you know, fear of success, whatever is, you know, is making you thump. Make sure you make some art about it, and even just 5 minutes, you know, draw a picture of what that looks like or what that feels like. And you never have to show it to anybody, although you may want to, because that's what art does for us. Art explains our feelings to us. Art explains our feelings to us. So the art that you make about fear of failure, fear of success, being rejected, helps me with my fear of failure and my fear of success and my rejection. That's how art heals the world. That's how stories change the world. And that's our job. That's our job. Other people have other jobs. Creative people have the job of telling the stories that change the world. And whether you're telling that story visually, or you're telling that story physically, or you're telling that story through your healing, or through your writing, or through your teaching, or through your, you know, amethyst yoga booty past life regression soul spinning cycle class, that's how you get to change the world. So let's talk about the big, big yes, right? Like I said, it's July 9th to the 12th, so it's really coming up. It's really soon. And I'm going to tell you about big, big yes. That'll take about 2.5 minutes. And then I'm going to talk to you about some business models, like how do you structure these things? How would you do that? So I'm going to give you some ideas about how to do that. The big, big yes is like a $2,500 value. I mean, it's almost all me teaching. There's almost no other teachers. And it's really about kind of what we're doing here. It's really about you doing the deep dive into your information, your inner wisdom about what's right for you. It's not like I've got a big plan and everybody should do it my way. I'm not laying out a strategy for you. I'm laying out a strategy for you to figure out what your strategy is. How can you leverage your natural rhythms, your energy, your ebb and flow, the way you like to interact with the world, and use that so that you can create the kind of business and the kind of success that is perfect for you, that only you can do, and that frankly only you would want, right? So we're not going for some abstract, conventional version of success. We're going for what does success look like for you? How do we make that happen in a way that feels really comfortable for you? What income level feels great for you? How many people do you want to help? Where is that for you? And so my job is to give you the mechanism so that you can not only figure out the answers to those questions, but also continue to find the answers to those questions so that after the 3 days, you've got some tools to be able to keep making decisions, because money loves decisiveness. Money loves decisiveness, and money loves speed. So this is going to help you even if you never start a business. Your ability to tap into your inner wisdom, know what you know about what you know, and make the decision and go. And not get distracted by the sparkly thing or by the discouraging thing somebody else said, but staying inspired from what you know in your heart is true about you and your work. So that's what the whole thing's about. We talk about what business are you in? How much do you want to make? What is the financial structure that's going to support that? How do you do your marketing? How do you talk about yourself without feeling weird? I have the coolest thing we're going to do around that. I'm so excited. Okay. We're going to talk about some practical stuff, like how do you do a teleclass or a webinar? Like what are the actual steps to that? We're going to talk about how you get published, Amazon and Kindle. We're going to talk about the obstacles. We're going to do some deep work on the stuff that keeps you blocked, so we can, again, see more of that stuff that's painted pink. So we go, oh, right, there's that monster that keeps me stuck. Hello, monster. Great to see you. So that's kind of what we're doing. So it's a $2,500 value. Plus you get $1,000, more than $1,000 worth of bonuses, because you get the Get It Done recordings, you get a bunch of other recordings, you get the 365 Club, you get tons of stuff. The ticket price is $7.99. If you buy your ticket today, June 30th, before midnight, June 30th Pacific time, I will give you a $300 travel and expense voucher back at the door. That means I will hand you a check for $300. Even if you're just coming from around the corner, you still have expenses coming to an event like this, and I want to help you offset them. But that offer expires today, June 30th. Even after that, though, even at $7.99, it's an incredible bargain. And you can bring a friend for $99. There's a meal upgrade you might want to take advantage of. And I just found out from the hotel that they're extending our room block until Thursday. So you can still get a room at the Westin LAX for $149 a night, and it's like $189 on the website. So you want to get it through us, just tell them you're with the Big Big Yes, and they'll give you the special rate. And even if you're in LA, you might want to stay at the hotel just so you don't have to commute, which we all know in LA is a nightmare. But also to really give yourself the experience of a retreat. Really give yourself time to integrate, to be in a different space. Your environment affects you so much. To put yourself in a different environment so you can think about things differently is critical. So I think that's it. I think that's all I got to say. So go to bigyesrevolution.com, bigyesrevolution.com. And if you're not sure and you want to talk about it a little bit, go to that assessment, theorganizedartistcompany.com/assess, ASSESS, and you'll get an invitation to fill out a little 15-minute, have a little 15-minute conversation with a member of Team TOA, and we'll see if it's right for you. And if it's right, then great, and if it's not, fine, no big deal. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about Big Big Yes? So let's see, there's a conversation here. Mariah says, you should have heard my spur of the moment kitchen song yesterday out of nowhere. I've realized I've just started living my life the Sam way, even if dishwashing is an opportunity for art, if you call that song art, LOL. Yes, yes, yes. Dishwashing is absolutely an opportunity for art. And I love the sound of the water myself. Good, good, good. It's really helped me to make art, even bad art about things. I have crayons and make kindergarten pictures. They make me happy, and that happiness fuels my writing. That's right. I'm telling you, it works, it works, it works. Sam, are you going to talk today about how to find out what business to choose? I'm so curious about your strategies. Yeah, well, sort of. I'm going to give you some ideas anyway. I mean, that's really what Big S is for, is to dive into what your thing is, and I'll be right there so we can fix it together. Corinne, you mentioned people who have multiple business ideas and interests. What would you say to those of us who don't know what our business is? Well, let me talk through some of this. Ashley says, I'm freaking out and scared. I so want to go to the Big Big Yes. Similar to the gentleman you spoke of, do not see my resources. So I'm considering putting out a call to my Facebook page with offers of my makings like portrait earrings, sewn, handmade, painted pouches, scared. Yeah, you know, I actually, here's how I would do that. First of all, yay, I would absolutely do that. And B, being scared is not a reason to not do things. Being scared is not a good enough reason. You do not want to stand there talking to St. Peter at the pearly gates going like, well, I would have done more with my life, but I was scared. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person who takes the risk. So here's what I would do if I was going to try to raise some money by selling stuff to people on Facebook. My friend and client Stephanie did this a while ago. She had an opportunity to rent a studio. It was $600 a month. And so she took 2 of her paintings, put them up on Facebook, and said, I have an opportunity to rent my very first art studio for $600 a month. So this painting, and I need to fund that with my painting. So this painting is available for $750. This painting is available for $800. Let me know if you're interested. She sold one right away. She sold the other one the next day. And she had a ton of people commenting like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you painted. That's really beautiful. Do you have something that's green? My house needs art, right? So what she did that was super smart is she was very specific about what it was for. You know, she wasn't just like, oh, this is for sale. It was like, I'm trying to accomplish this specific thing. She put a fair price, you know, a good, you know, it wasn't super expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. And she stayed open, you know, she didn't pressure anybody. She didn't apologize. She didn't cry, you know, she didn't whine and cry about it. She just made the statement, made the opportunity. And here's where we can see that art as money as a sacred exchange, right? She was able to give them some art. They were able to recognize her by giving her some money. Then she's able to take that money to rent the studio to make more art, right? We see how that flow of energy sustains us. So I would absolutely do that. You can ask people for a loan. You can move money from another account. Sometimes people have money in, you know, in something, some savings or something. Money is fungible. It doesn't matter where it goes. It's all the same money. You know, again, if you partner with a friend, so if you come today, it's $7.99, get the $300 rebate. So that's $4.99. And if you bring a friend who's only paying $99 and you split that, it's $2.99 for each of you. So that's $300. And here's what I notice. If you don't spend the money, it's not like you're going to have an extra $800 at the end of the year. The money's going to go somewhere. So you get to decide where. Okay, I want to get to some of these business strategies. Yeah, Etsy page, sure. The thing with the Facebook, you know, you want to get it fast, you know. Good. Yeah, Shelley says, don't discount your work, but instead offer it at full price to people who find it and value it enough. Exactly. Thank you. Very good. Okay. So here are some ways to think about your business. Some of them you might have heard before. Some of them probably not. So, some of you were with me on the How to Make $1,000 webinar that I did a couple months ago. And I really need to offer again. That's a pretty killer class. But one of the things we look at in that workshop is just without knowing what you're doing, right? So we don't know now at this stage of the game if you're selling widgets or teaching classes or touring the country with your roller skating show. We're just thinking about dollars and quantities. Which I realize is a little backwards, but just go with me here. So if you were to make $1,000, would you rather sell one thing or do one thing for $1,000? Would you rather do 10 things for $100 a piece or sell 10 things at $100 a piece? Would you rather sell $1,001 things? Or some, something in between those things. Sell 3 things at $333. What of those numbers feels good to you? What of those resonates for you? For example, for me personally, and this is just me, and there's no value judgment in this at all, when I think about selling $1,001 things, that makes me feel very tired. That sounds like a lot of work to me. I don't know. It's not even the work. It just feels sort of tedious to me. However, if I think about selling one thing at $1,000, that feels like, oh yeah, that's easy. Let's do that. That seems very efficient. I like that. Let's do that one. So I realize we're saying like, well, what would you sell for $1,000? Well, I don't know. We haven't gotten to that part yet. But just knowing where your vibe is of like, oh, I like the 3 at $333, or oh, I like the 2 at 500. That just feels right. That gives you some idea of scope, of how you might market, of what your distribution strategy is going to need to be. If you're just thinking, oh, I think I'd like 2 people at 500. Well, shoot, you could have 10, invite 10 people over to your house for a little salon Sunday afternoon and, teach them a little something and then offer them, a $500 package or class or private coaching or whatever. And I bet out of 10 people, you would get 2 who wanted it. Right? So this is that's a way to just go from the number to the idea. Like, oh, if you're going, oh, well, I want 1,000 at $1. Okay, now we need leverage. Now we need to talk to a lot of people. So now we want to go to Facebook. We want to get 1 million people on board. We want to buy advertising maybe. We want to, go to where a big crowd of people are. We want to go to Taste of Chicago. We want to go to a convention. We want to go to the school, right? So that's one way to think about it. And I realize it's a little sideways, but I like thinking sideways, and I think you do too. Okay. Another way to think about how to start your business or what business it is you want to start, and this you probably have heard before, but I'll say it anyway because it's valuable. How much money do you want to make? How much time do you want to work? How much money do you want to make? How much time do you want to work? So if the thing we were talking about before is really talking about offering a product, maybe a service, but probably a product, this is really talking about offering a service. How much money, how many clients? So if I want to make $10,000 a month, and I really only want to work, 10 hours a week or 5 hours a week, I could maybe get 10 private clients paying me $1,000 a month. If I meet with them each twice for maybe 45 minutes, twice a month, yeah. There you go. That's your 10,000. I put them on a 6-month contract, $6,000 for 6 months, done. So just do that math. And some of you, this is where you get stuck because you have a math problem. You're like, well, I only charge $20 for my sessions. Well, there's not enough hours in the day for you to make a living doing that, right? especially you guys, you over deliver. You know that when you work one-on-one with people or even in groups, you're over delivering. You're holding the space. You're bringing all this extra brain power and creativity to what you do. You have to charge enough to make it worth it, and you have to charge enough so that the people you're helping will notice. You have to charge enough so that they will notice. They will understand the value that you are bringing to their lives. And if you're wondering, like, oh, where is that bar? Well, again, I can't. You guys notice I got my hair done? I got my hair done. I can't get my hair done for less than now. Okay, I go to LA and I go to like Superstar Hairdresser, but still, it's like $250. And I'm not the only girl in the world who pays this to get her hair done. The acupuncturist is $200. The massage therapist is $200. The plumber is certainly $200. The mechanic is $200. I mean, I would never charge less than $200 an hour for whatever it is you do. And if you're offering products and you want to work backwards from that. But I would never charge less than $175 or $200 an hour. You guys are great at what you do. Charge like you are great. Okay. Good. Mariah says, $1,000 used to sound like a lot of money. Now I realize it's a lot of money to some, but it's a teeny price to many. I had to stop thinking that my clients were in my friend's tax bracket. Well, that's exactly right. And I'll tell you what, when I was looking to up-level my business and I was looking for a coach, because I don't know how anybody does it without a coach, honestly. I interviewed some people, and there was one woman that I talked to who was very good. She asked a lot of really good questions. I thought she was really smart. And then we got to the part about how much she charged, and she said she charged, I think, $750 a month. And I thought, you can't help me. You don't charge enough. And I was a little surprised to hear myself thinking that, because it's not like I have $750 just laying around. I mean, but I knew that what that person was charging was a reflection of how they valued their service and where they were at in their own business. I was like, $750 a month. I mean, so that coach maybe could have gotten me from where I was to where I am right now, but they're not going to get me to where I want to go. So I found somebody who charged more, a lot more, but it was worth every dime. Let's see, Marissa says, I did notice your hair. Thank you. Let's see, 5 gigs for 10K each. Can't believe I just wrote that. Nice, Daisy. Good. Ashley says, for $1,000, I would like to sell a choice of 3 to 5 things at a price low, medium, and high. Great. Good choice. Good. Yes, right. Being scared is not a good reason. Do it anyway. I have done it anyway. Well, that's it. I mean, it's not like you haven't taken risks before in your life. You have. Good. Okay, so as I was doing this for the other morning, I started to think about, so those are 2 ways to think about business models, right? How much do you charge and how many of the things are you doing? And it's a way to keep it in scale for yourself so that we're making dreams that are the right size for us. We're not overwhelming ourselves. But here's another way to think about business. And I'm just going to talk you through this because, like I said, it's what I came up with and I thought it was kind of fun and it might spark some thinking for you. So this is coming at it from a slightly more purpose-driven life or a purpose-driven way of thinking about things. Okay. So let's say we were doing an exercise, and some of you may have, this is a little part of a much larger exercise that I do that we'll probably do at Big Yes. But just go ahead off the top of your head, answer this question. The world would be a better place if blank. If what happened? What was going on? If what activity was happening more? And if you find yourself with something sort of general, like the world would be a better place if people loved each other more. Okay, well, what does loving each other more look like for you? So maybe you say, well, the world would be a better place if people loved each other more. And if people loved each other more, that might look like people listening more. That's one way to express love that really matters to me. And I would love to see people listening better, more. Less yelling, more listening. Good. Okay. That's a good purpose. That's a good drive. So we know that one of the things you're going to want to do in your life is encourage people to listen more. that listening, that word has some resonance for you. And let's say you're a body worker. Let's say you're a healer body work person. And let's say maybe you don't want to work one-on-one anymore because it's exhausting and your wrists are starting to give out and it's hard to make enough money because there's not enough hours in the day. So let's say you took that idea about listening and took that idea about not really wanting to work one-on-one with people anymore. And you created, you start to call yourself the body listener. The body listener. And maybe you created a little course called Hearing Your Body, or Listening to Your Body, or Listening to the Body's Whisper. Maybe you're the body whisperer. I don't know. And so maybe that's 6 live classes, or it's 6 classes that you teach online. So you're helping people to understand the messages of their body, tune in more closely to what's right for them nutritionally, or, you know, whatever. And let's say, yeah, so maybe it's 6 videos with a workbook and a daily meditation. That's not too hard to set up. So what did I write here? So I wrote, it said, let's say you want to make $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. And let's say you only wanted to offer it 4 times a year. You just wanted to offer it at the solstice and the equinox, right? So that means you need to make $30,000 a class. So you could have 15 people paying you $2,000. You could have 30 people paying you $1,000. You could have 60 people paying you $500. You could have a year-long program, right? With 6 people paying you $24,000 a piece. Okay, so that's just kind of walking you through how I might start to structure a business based on what did I want, what was really motivating me, what's the change I want to see in the world, and then what amount of work do I want to do, how many people do I want to do it with, and then what's the delivery system that's going to best serve the clients and people that I'm working with. So it's not so hard, right? It's not so hard. I was talking to Lanny, who's one of my Creative Genius CEOs. She's also a sponsor at Big Big Yes. So if you're at Big Big Yes, you'll see her there. I really love this story. So she has a business. A year ago, I love this. A year ago, she had a very high-powered job. She was living, I think, in Austria. Amsterdam, Austria, I always forget. Anyway, she was living overseas. And she had a very high-powered job as a project manager in the semiconductor industry, semiconductors. Yeah, so big technical project management job, and she was over it. So she started working with me. She quit her full-time job. She moved back to the Bay Area, and she has started a business called Handcrafted Mindfulness. Handcrafted Mindfulness, which where she teaches people like crochet and knitting and other, you know, handwork, as a mindfulness meditation, particularly in the area of grief recovery, because it's how she herself overcame the grief of her father's death and the loss of her cat, was by making things. So she teaches other people now, and she's tearing it up. So a year ago, she was full-time with somebody else. Now she has her own business. She's having an incredible impact on the world. And so now, but she has this stuff that she makes and she wears it sometimes, and they're beautiful, incredible pieces. And so sure enough, you know, she said she was wherever she was, at a coffee shop or something, and somebody comes up to her and says, oh, I have to talk to you about the scarf you're wearing. It's so beautiful. You know, where did you get it? And Lanny says, oh, well, I made it. And they say, oh, you made it. Oh my God, it's extraordinary. Can I ask, do you sell them? And she said, well, she told me then what she tells them, which is, well, no, I don't sell them, but I can teach you how to do it. Which is a fine response, a perfectly fine response. But I wanted to get into it a little bit with her. And I was like, okay, so why? You don't have to sell anything you don't want to sell, but why don't you sell it? And she said, well, because I could never charge the amount I would have to charge in order to make it worth it, because it really is an art and meditation process. It's not just a piece of knitting, it's an actual thing. And I'm like, right, good. I get that, and I get the hours and hours that takes, and I get the psychic and spiritual energy that takes. And so does the person who's asking you if they can buy it. They understand too that it's something special. So that's why they came across the restaurant to talk to you about it. So if you wanted, you could say, thank you so much. I love it too. I actually don't think of it as a scarf. I think of it as a piece of art. And consequently, I price it like art. So yes, I can sell it to you for $9,000. Now here's the thing. Especially up in the Bay Area, but really everywhere, there's all kinds of people with all kinds of money that they are just eager to spend. And especially up there, there's a lot of people like in the tech industry, especially women, and they're feeling a little shut down around their femininity. And for them to have something that special that they're never going to see anybody else wearing, that they can wear to the dinner party and have somebody say, oh my gosh, what a beautiful scarf. And they say, thank you so much. You know, I was at this coffee shop and I saw it on this woman and I knew I had to have it. And I went over to her and she wouldn't sell it, but then I paid her $9,000 for it. And it's the most beautiful thing. Like, she's going to dine out on that story of buying that scarf for like 10 years. And she's going to leave it to her kids. You're not just giving them a thing. It's not just yarn. It's an experience. It's a new way of being. That woman gets to be somebody different when she puts that scarf on, and she loves that person. And part of the value of that is how much she paid for it. And if 9,000 feels too much, call it 5,000. If 5,000 feels too much, call it 1,200. But now notice what I just did. All of a sudden, 1,200 seems like a total bargain, doesn't it? So think about pricing yourself really high, way higher than you actually would, and then cut it in half, and all of a sudden it feels like a bargain. Okay, that's a trick I learned from my friend Shelley Campbell. Okay, let's see. What are we doing here? It's so true. My mom's crochet is amazing, and intricate sweaters, $350 for a sweater is not nearly enough. Right, exactly. Good. Let's see here where I'm going here. Oh, I love what you guys were thinking about with your sort of purpose. The Lauren, if altruism didn't poison business decisions. That's interesting. I'd like to dive into that with you, Lauren. There's some interesting assumptions in there, but I don't know. It's a little outside of the scope of this call. Peggy says, if people slowed down and reflected about things before they jump to conclusions. Katie says, my hair's beautiful. Thank you very much. I think it's beautiful too. And I figure I gotta wear it every day, right? I gotta wear it every day. And you know, the hair's not right. Nothing's right. It's always darkest before the haircut. Good. Oh, and there's Lanny. Hi, Lanny. She's actually on the call. Hi, how you doing? Mariah says, Sam, did you try out different approaches and change the name of your business ever? I'm starting with questions about whether I'm holding on to old ideas, but at least I'm finally starting. Wondering if you went through a similar thing. I did have two business. I started out when I was doing like independent admin work for people. I think I called it Bennett Creative Services, which I figured could cover anything. And then one day in the shower, I realized, I thought of the name The Organized Artist Company, and I realized that I could put everything I was doing under the name The Organized Artist Company. So I never had to change the name. And I could change it completely now. I mean, I could just go into full-time business consulting and still call it The Organized Artist Company. So, oh, look, there's Leonore. Hi, Leonore. Oh, Leonore got a delay to joining us, but I'm so glad you're here. We've had a big time so far.
Awesome. Sorry I'm great, but so glad that I'm here. Thank you for letting me come on today.
You bet. Thanks. So for those of you who don't know, Leonore is my team leader, my lead coach, my right hand, my favorite person. She's
your warrior princess.
My warrior princess. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so I haven't really changed the name of things, and you know, you can keep the name of your business and change the name of your products, right? I know people who do that a lot, like they want to offer one thing and they call it one thing and they call something else something else. I wouldn't get too hung up on your business name, frankly. If you don't know what to do, just give it your own name. Like I said, Bennett Creative Services worked fine for me for years. Peggy says, Sam, what you were describing about the body listener is where I'm at right now. I listed 5 passions, all closely related. I want to meld them into a business and have to figure out how to present this and explain it, such as with the body listener. It's been hard for me because it's me, I guess. Right, exactly. It's hard to describe the forest when you're the tree. You know, it's the water we swim in. So again, that's a lot of what we'll be doing at Big Big Yes, is figuring out how do you say the thing that you do in a way that makes sense to other people and excites them and magnetizes them to you. Good. Let's see. Miranda says, Mariah, I started a blog and it morphed for several months before it finally settled on a topic that felt right. I think change is inevitable in creative business. I have to say too, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are like, right in like just in the last couple of months, are like, I'm blowing up my business. I'm starting something totally new. I'm rebranding. I'm doing a whole new thing. And I'm like, you get it that no one cares, right? Like, we really aren't noticing that you were working with teenagers and now you're working with, you know, older women, or like, you can, like I said, you're on a jet ski, you know, you can change and navigate your business just fine, and no one's going to notice or care that you've changed your target market or you're doing something more or less. I mean, like I said, I started the Organized Entrepreneur Company mostly just as a website, and so I'd have a little more credibility in the entrepreneurial community, but it didn't really change what I was doing, right? So I wouldn't get too wrapped up in that. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Yeah, oh, the price of yarn. Yeah, totally. Angela, who's also sponsoring. Angela was also in a full-time job a year ago and has now stepped out into the beautiful world of entrepreneurship and is offering, and she's sponsored it at Big Big Yes. She's doing work with people around forgiveness, particularly with mothers and daughters. Which makes me want to cry just thinking about it. So good. So Angela says, sending you the big I dare you to make yourself a priority and get yourself to the Big Big Yes. Till then, adieu, see you in LA. Angela's mom is even coming, which I think that's so great. Deborah says, repeat the name of the lady with the crafts therapy. My daughter at 34 has breast cancer and this would help her. Yes, it would. I think it's handcrafted mindfulness. Lanny, if you want to type that in, that would be great, but I think it's handcrafted mindfulness. Good. So yeah, so fill out these. So if you're feeling pulled by all this, if you're feeling like, oh, this is bringing up a lot of questions for me and I really do want to move forward on this, I'm recognizing my desire, I'm seeing the opportunity, I need to make more money, I'm eager to make more money, especially from the things that I'm doing that I love, 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 love to do, then I want you to make your way to the Big Big Yes. And I realize that for some of you, this means like, wait, so I'm going to jump on a plane from Australia with less than 10 days notice. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I will also suggest you, because I've been having some of these assessment conversations with people, and what I notice is that the reason they're telling themselves they can't is the exact reason they need to be there, right? So I hear this like, well, I would totally be there, except I want to get all my ducks in a row. You know, I really want to be organized about it and make sure I'm like, I get it. I understand the desire for ducks, for organized ducks. And I'm like, but is your desire to have all your ducks in a row keeping you stuck in other areas of your life? Like, has this come up before already? Oh, yes, they say. I'm like, right. So the thing to do is not to wait to have all your ducks in the row. The thing to do is to jump and trust that it's actually just a short step down. Because it is. It's not that bad. Good. There it is. Handcraftedmindfulness.com. Good. Thank you. Roxana says, yes, I remember once I took my journals to a design shop and the owner didn't want to receive some of my pieces because she said they were too expensive and no one will buy them. I realized the problem is not my work, but the place where I took it. Right. Let me tell you two important things about that. One, right, wrong market. I actually, some of you may have seen, I made a poster called Ode to the Drama Teacher, which is something that I wrote to honor the drama teachers who saved my life when I was a girl. Because I was asked to speak at the California Educational Theater Association conference up at Asilomar a couple of years ago. So I wrote that poem for them, for that event. And it got a really big response. So then I turned it into a poster and I offered it for sale. You can see it on my website. It's like most of the things I offer for sale. It's like the best kept secret in the world that is even on there. But I thought, oh, you know, Samuel French should carry this, which is the theater arts bookstore. They used to have one in New York and one in Los Angeles. I think they've closed the LA one now. And I took it in and told the woman how much I wanted for them. And she was like, oh, I could never buy them at that price. That's too expensive. And I'm like, really? because it's a poster. And like, and honestly, I didn't even get into it with her. I'm like, you were so short-sighted. And not just because I didn't care whether she bought my poster or not, but like the whole, like Samuel French owned the theatrical literature market. Like they were the people, and they've just let the entire thing go because of this poverty mindset of, oh, publishing has gone online. We don't know what to do about that. We can't make money. Like it's crazy making to me. So yeah, you got to find the people who will pay for it, who understand the value and will pay for it. And there's a thing called the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule. You may have heard of this. For example, you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time. In any group, 20% of the people do 80% of the work. In your business, 20% of your activities bring in 80% of your revenue. So you want to figure out what the 20% is, right? And in any group, there's 20% of the people who want to pay you more, right? So we've got the baseball stadium, and then we've got the skyboxes for the 20% of the people who aren't happy unless they're spending a couple of grand, right? So any group of people, there's going to be 20% who want the upgrade, who want first class, who want special, who want to pay more. So you're not selling to everybody, you're just selling to that 20%. And you know that they're always there because that rule is always true. Okay. Good. Patty says, hi, great to see you. Good. Mariah says, yes, that's what she's saying. If you invest in this and take the leap, the universe will know you mean business. I don't know how it happens, but it does. It's true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Good. So, oh, I see what I was writing about Right. So if I really wanted to promote Ode to the Drama Teacher, for example, if I really wanted to, if I said, you know, that's what I really want to make money off of is that poster. Well, then I'd want to go for volume, right? Because it's a pretty low cost thing. So this is where I would start looking at Facebook ads, trade associations, unions, see if I had any in the teachers union, speaking gigs, if I could get more of those. I'd be wanting to look for where do those drama teachers congregate? Where do people who love drama teachers congregate? I would probably do a lot of advertising at the times of this fall and the spring when people do their spring and fall musicals or the fall play, probably at the end of the year, especially when people are graduating and they want to get a present for their teacher. I might approach yearbook committees, the people who publish yearbooks, stuff like that. You see, so you start to, once you can let the time and the money determine what you want to do, or you can let what you want to do determine the time and the money. But either way, you gotta start somewhere. Good. Organized Ducks, great name for a business. That is a great name for the business. Organized Ducks. How do you answer someone who says you can't charge very much because you first have to build up their trust? They're not your client. You say, thank you, nice to meet you, and you move on. You know, I don't ask the plumber to do some work for free to prove to me that he's really a plumber. Right? You go to the people who, I mean, what's the difference between a brand new artist who charges $50 for a painting and a brand new artist who charges $50,000 for a painting? There's not an answer to that question. I just want you to think about it. What's the difference? What does it mean? What do we make it mean? What's the difference between an artist who charges $3,000 versus $8,000? I can tell you that psychologically, pretty much anything under $100 is the same. So whether you're pricing something at $20 or $50 or $70 or $97, for the consumer, it's pretty much the same. That those prices are all kind of in the same category together, right? They kind of fall under the impulse buy category, and we just, so if you're going to price something and you're thinking, oh, I think I want to price it at $40, well, you might as well price it at $70. Or $97, because it's not going to make a difference to the consumer. If somebody's going to buy it, they're going to buy it at 40 or they're going to buy it at 97, and you might as well make twice as much. Just a thought. Okay. Yeah, the trust thing really hit me where it hurts. Yeah, they're playing you. They're not a client. They're just involved in some weird power game with you. Move on. Find the person who already wants what you have. Will this be available for replay? Yes. Yes, you can find it on my Google Plus page, and I'll probably send out the recording as well. Good. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, so the Big Big Yes offer, the $300 travel rebate expires today, June 30th, midnight Pacific time. And there isn't a code or anything you have to type in. We just know when the order came in, thanks to our fancy dancy system. But even after that, like I said, even at $7.99, it's an incredible bargain. And I'll tell you guys this. This is the third year I've done this event. And the first 2 years was about 50, 55 people in the room, which is what I had aimed for. I'd wanted about 50, and I got it, and I was thrilled. We had 100% attendance. My event planner was like, 100% attendance? That doesn't happen. And I'm like, oh, yes, it does. And people are constantly telling me how hard it is to fill a room and how difficult it is. And I'm like, that's not my story. That's not my story. I believe that may be true for you, but it's not going to be true for me. I'm doing it differently. I like it.
Yeah, I think it kind of blew our event planner's mind by being like the only clients she'd had who'd had like 100% attendance, and we had a couple people walk in at the door.
That's right. So it was actually like 105% attendance.
Yeah,
that's true.
Totally.
Yeah, her brain melted a little bit. So this year, I kind of, the reason it's the Big Big Yes is because I decided I wanted over 100 people in the room. And so we've been working towards that all year. And I have to say, it wasn't until last Friday that I thought to myself, what was I thinking? It's not like I doubled my list in the last year. I'm going to suddenly double the attendance to this event. Like, what kind of crazy magical thinking is that? Like, Samantha, what's wrong with you? But you all know how I love the impossible. And it turned out it's fine. We're absolutely going to have over 100 people in that room. And I don't care that other people say it's impossible because I know it's not. So that's what I do. I make the impossible happen. I can help you make your impossible dreams happen. And I think it'd be a lot of fun. And you can see how great the crowd is. You know, the people in the room are just as smart and supportive and insightful and clever and creative. And it's a really beautiful room. I think as creatives, we spend a lot of our lives feeling a little lonely, feeling a little like we don't fit in, like we're the weirdos in our family, or we're the weirdos in our group of friends or at school. And this is a room filled with the weirdos. Like, when we get, it's not like we don't have friends, of course, and we just sort of get used to that feeling. But in the Big Big Yes, it's a room full of people who share your struggles, share your perspective on the world, have had some of your same experiences. It's a really great group of people. So Lisa, how many participants do I expect? Yeah, a little over 100. Roxana says, just read my mug. Yes, art before housework. You can buy these at the Big Big Yes. They're also on Zazzle. You can get them on Zazzle. Leona, how do you find your niche if you have several ideas? Well, again, that's something we'll get into at Big Big Yes, but the really short answer is just start. Just get started. Because you'll see, it'll start to evolve for you. I thought for sure that I was going to have a ton of actors. I thought I would mostly be serving actors in the Organized Artist Company because that's my background. And I have a lot of knowledge capital about how to make it as an actor. I did pretty well as an actor. I still do pretty well as an actor. But not so much. Surprise, you know? So yeah, you just gotta start working. And people will tell you, they'll start to tell you what they want, what they need, who they want to refer you to. It'll become clear. Good. Do I know when I'll do the next workshop? No idea. When am I coming to the East Coast? You know, I hear this a lot about the East Coast, and then every time I plan something on the East Coast, everybody's like, oh, I can't make it that weekend. So I don't know. I don't know about the East Coast thing. I'll keep looking. Let's see. Good. Any other questions? Mariah says, did I do something wrong? My comments stopped posting. Did I reach a quota? Not as far as I know. Good. Any other questions? Am I missing anything here, Leonore?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Good. So we've talked about, what are those thoughts, the like, that keep you stuck? The ones about, oh, I can't decide, or I don't know how, or I want to, I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. What if I fail? What if I succeed? No one's going to pay for that. And really recognizing that those thoughts are just monsters in disguise. They're your same old issues about perfectionism and wanting to be right and do it right and wanting to be safe and wanting to stay in some box and not honoring or valuing your own gifts enough. So if you're ready to drop some of those stories and start to think about some new ways that you can bring your work to the world in a way that's going to feel really great to you, and really embrace the freedom and the control that you already have over your life. You are already experiencing 100% freedom and 100% control over what's happening in your life. If you really want to start maximizing that and also have a great weekend with me, I would love to see you at the Big Big Yes. Bring a friend, book the room, take the leap. And honestly, if you get there and you're like, this is not for me, just go to Leonora will be right there at the back table. She'll give you your money back, less a 10% admin fee just to cover some of our costs. But otherwise, walk on. I don't want you there if it's not the best experience you've ever had. Like, I want you buying your ticket for next year on Friday. You know, I want you, like, I've been here 4 hours and I have to come again next year. Like, that's how valuable I want it to be for you. And if it's not that experience, then, you know, I will cheerfully refund your money. So know that it's a no risk situation for you. Good. Oh, good. Angela's mom says she can't wait to come. Suddenly I have so many ideas rolling around in my head. Where to start? Yeah, good. So start writing things down. Start talking to people about stuff. Start capturing all the stuff that's happening for you, and you know, in just a week we'll start to corral all that and really focus it down to the diamond that is your work. Good. Anything else happening? Hi, Angela's mom. You're a rock star. You're famous now. Good. So fill out the assessment. It's like I said, it's valuable just to answer those questions, and then you can talk to somebody about it. And if you're really having trouble figuring out the money, somebody on Team TOA can help you figure out the money for sure. We're really good at that. Yeah, we're really good at that. Good. Anything else? I don't want to leave anybody hanging, but I also don't want to keep you any longer than is needful. I feel like there's more postings here that I can't see. Okay. All right. Well, let's do one more round of breathing just to close out this circle. I really want to thank you for this. And again, notice the strength of your desire. Notice your passion for your work, and notice the sense of freedom and excitement that comes when you think like, oh, I could do this my way. Oh, I could do this in a way that's easy for me to do this. I could do this in a way that's comfortable. I could do this in a way that's lucrative. I'm here to tell you, the things you maybe don't like doing now, when you're being paid a sufficient amount for it, you start to like it a lot better. A composer who'd been undercharging for his work forever, doing arrangements, and finally I said, charge the union rate at least. And sure enough, he's like, wow, this is so much better now that I know that I'm getting paid. I'm like, yeah, amazing how that works. Amazing how the resentment level goes down and the satisfaction level goes up. Good. Thank you so much, everybody. Any great advice on combining a service and product business? Yeah. Oh, Lauren. Yes, you have so many great questions, Lauren. I think you just need to be a big yes, because I want to answer them for you. But that's a big question. Good. Okay. Good. I'm sorry to leave you hanging. But yeah, that's a bigger question than the scope of this call. But the short answer is just do it. You can absolutely combine services and products together. Absolutely. Okay. You ready? So let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for doing this with me. See you at the Big Big Yes. BigYesRevolution.com.